boom, I just targeted this muscle on this meridian, and then being able to explore then after the fact, how did that change my state of presence? How did that energy shift? How am I able to express that, now, from this place, which is, a beautiful thing. Come and experience this work.
A voice calling from within our core.
What are we here for? We realize that our power lies
in how we live our lives,
and how we choose to show up.
So we choose to show up as rooted crowns, and this is our living prayer. Birth from the earth,
on a path to reclaim our name,
nature, ancestral medicine to heal our home. We sow this prayer in our bodies between many hands and upon our land.
In direct response to self-hate, forced scarcity, and climate change.
But it's simple for real. We plant food forests and concrete jungles,
inspiring youth to lead us out this struggle,
nourishing our bodies as living proof,
sharing all we do to amplify this truth.
Yeah, we documenting it all,
bringing it to you so you can feel this call in person, online.
Yeah, we standing tall, rooted crowns. Let's rock with it, y'all.
Peace, family. Welcome back to Rooted Crowns. This is Lev here, and just wanted to take this video to share more about a movement practice and an approach to moving the body, approach to stretching the body and strengthening the body that has really transformed my life. I'm here bringing as a guest Isaiah, who introduced this method to me and helped me recover when I was really injured. I couldn't walk, and I got in touch with Isaiah here, and he graciously was like, yo, let's do a Skype call, similar to what we're doing right now. And he literally just showed me and explained to me this perspective that we want to share with y'all today.
Thanks for reaching out, man, for the conversation and for, the appreciation. I mean, I feel when you called, a young man, capoeista, like active, strong brother that just had an injury that was nagging, that was stopping you from having full capacity in your body. And when you're doing capoeira, you need full capacity. So I felt the call. I felt like I really liked where you're coming from, your humility, your strength, your connection, your heart was right there. So it was a total pleasure and honor to be able to share with you and support you through that. And I feel like that's one of the keys, one of the definitions of success for me is an ability to serve, to have enough energy, knowledge, resources in whatever way to be able to serve other people. And monetary exchange is one of those ways that we receive and give value, but it's not everything, So I'm honored to be here. And in terms of the body work, it's changed my life as well. And that's another reason why I share it, because it's been so impactful in terms of rehabbing my body, pulling out stress and tension, emotional stress, negative habits and patterns, trauma, things that have been stored in my body that I didn't know how to get out. I was scratching the surface, but I wasn't really getting to the root of it. And it's because I wasn't using enough force. So this modality teaches us how to use excessive, like huge amounts of force really safely. And the bottom line is, for any of you that do athletics or yoga, you'll relate to this. Your muscle, all it does is contract, one function. And if you don't contract a muscle, but you extend through range of motion, then something's got to gather or hold that tension. And if the muscle belly is not holding the tension, then the tendon, ligament, or joint is where it goes. So to avoid injury, overstretching, issues like that, we have to stay active and fully contracted in the belly of the muscle. And by doing that, we stay safe. We create an opportunity for the body to unwind that long-held tension that's stored in the tissues of the body, the muscles, the connective tissues, the fascia, and ultimately the nervous system, the emotional body, and the psychological body. What's really amazing is I think of the body as a portal for consciousness, for our consciousness, an individual signature of consciousness. And the ability of us to access connection with different parts of our body dictates our ability to express, feel, and relate through consciousness. The more that we can use contractive force to open and stay connected with a muscle as it moves, we accentuate that ability. Our intelligence, our consciousness grows, our access to consciousness grows. It's based in Chinese medicine, it's based in 6,000 years of understanding and experiential wisdom and knowledge and practice, and modern biomechanics. It's really, it's something you learn day one in physical therapy school, osteopathic, you name it. They know about this, and for some reason, they move beyond it and they forget about the basics of muscle physiology and the fascia and the connective tissues that really support the deeper opening of the body. And that's what this work really dives into and focuses heavily on those tissues and on that relationship.
For sure. I mean, what's coming up for me right now, just in the moment, is, thinking about all the different like healing movement traditions, or, even we can call movement science traditions, such as Qigong, yoga, things that are, very ancient practices that are being, we could say, hijacked by the modern world and just kind of like shared on this huge level, or commodified on this huge level without some certain core understandings really internalized. There's certain things that are like, you have to get it on your own because they're not teaching. Like certain martial arts where it's like certain ways of moving that are not really broken down, because it's like your relationship with yourself while you're going through the movement. And when I met you and when you broke down these principles of understanding how we're working with this force of contraction and at the same time expansion simultaneously. There are these two forces at work at the same time, creating this capacity to engage the full range of that muscle in its full expression, its full contractive capacity. That really shifted things for me. And then experiencing it, actually embodying it, actually feeling the effects of the work. It has shifted, just how I move and how my approach to movement. In that moment of contraction, you're staying relaxed. It's almost like you're riding a wave in the sense of the own force that you're generating.
Yeah, you're generating ideally resistance, even more so than, you're not fighting so much as you're just generating resistance, and you're staying connected through a range of motion in resistance, right? And that ability to stay connected with yourself as you move through new ranges of motion transforms us really quickly, physically, emotionally, mentally, and energetically. The more connected we are with your physical musculature, with your nervous system, with your tissues of your body, and when you get this access to this full range and this healthy tissue, you just don't get stuck. You're able to flip from stress mode and out of stress mode much easier.
A hunter, when they need to go into the forest, they need to go from being totally cool, calm, almost like you can't even sense their presence, and one with the forest, to, in the spur of the moment, be able to turn on that ability to give their full out exertion, or run as fast as they need to run, fight whatever they need to fight, and then boom, right to that relaxation.
We've lost that reflexivity in large part. Most people are not able to switch easily back and forth. As that nervous system gets weak and diminished, our capacity to stay in a rest and digest parasympathetic mode where we can heal and actually make different choices in our life is severely limited,
Yeah, and I see it a lot when I'm working with people on the table, or on the floor in bodywork sessions. They're in a position where all they is relax. But when I lift their arm up and I let go of their arm stays. Not even be able to distinguish that within yourself. Like that's deep. Like that's a pretty, and it's a lot of folks out there, you know.
Yeah.
Really what we want to cultivate it as second nature. Oh, of course, when we get stressed, what's our default? Like, where do we go back to? What's home? What's our home base inside of ourselves?
I think that being able to feel ourselves and sense into ourselves, and, you know, is one of the most potent things, one of the most potent tools, health tools that we have access to. And there's no quick fix. There's no pill that's going to give you self-awareness. You know, if we can start to differentiate between good pain and bad pain, that's why bodywork is another reason why it's so helpful, is that you get in there, you start working on the neck, and they breathe into it. There's definitely pain and sensation there, for example, but then they breathe through it and there's release, there's more space, they feel better. So starting to learn what good pain is, and that the body is craving release in certain ways, and that we can facilitate that, is extremely potent. The work itself is called True Body Intelligence. I learned it from a teacher named Christopher Maher. The principle of using concentric, meaning towards center contraction, isometric, and then eccentric contraction. So resisting as you lengthen a muscle away from the center of your body. That eccentric phase is crucial because we're holding on and stacking and storing tension. We need that eccentric phase of really strong resistance to unwind those tissues and to evacuate the energy, get the blood and lymph and everything to move through the tissue that has not been moving. And that eccentric phase is the most important in a lot of ways. But it depends also on whether concentric is necessary for strength, building strength, eccentrics for length and opening. So it depends on what part of the body and the state of someone's body. Where am I and what do I need to do to create balance? And the cool part about using all three phases of contraction is that it ends up bringing you there. So if you do a push-up the way we do it, for example, the chest flexes and pulls open as you elongate towards the floor. And so if you have too much tension in the chest, it's going to pull it open and soften and open up the chest and take the tension off the front body and balance it with the back, right?
We might target a muscle, but that muscle is really connected to a whole organ system and energy meridian line, you know, directly connected to, you know, Chinese medicine understanding of the energy body and how they flow through our physical body, or simultaneously, you know, inhabit the physical aspects of our body. The way, in my own experience with this work, it's almost like it helps for me to envision the whole meridian and then to actually feel it after the fact of doing the stretch. You know, I feel the entire state of my body is shifted. And then being able to take note of that every time, you know, we do a stretch, boom, I just targeted this muscle on this meridian, and then being able to explore then after the fact, how did that change my state of presence? How did that change energy shift? How am I able to express that, you know, now, you know, from this place, which is, you know, a beautiful thing.
What I've experienced is thousands of people walking in the door, doing deep work, and then I have them walk around after stretching a certain muscle, affecting a meridian and an underlying organ. Then they walk around. Based on this Chinese medicine, we know what qualities, what emotional and psychological behavior and qualities are associated with that meridian. And they may have no knowledge of it. Most people don't. They just start saying the words that we've known for in this system for 6,000 years, represented by that channel. And it's all kinds of people, and it's consistent. The same words and language comes out of their mouth every time. One of the things that's really powerful about this perspective is that psychologically and emotionally, we can start to identify as being a depressed, sad, angry, shameful, guilty, whatever person. Like, this is who I am. This is how I am. When in fact, the truth is it's stagnation in the internal organs that's causing a behavioral expression. If we can remove that stagnation and increase the intelligence and the flow and the capacity of that organ to be healthy, then our behavior changes.
Being able to see our bodies as like, you know, they're the vehicles for our spirit, for our consciousness expression. There's a lot of ways in which people self-identify with their toxicity, with their maybe the unevolved state that they're in. Oh, that's just who I am. You know, I'm kind of lazy, you know, or you know, I'm not really that smart, or I'm not strong. Like, I'm not naturally athletic. People don't realize how they can shift. Different people are in different places in their journey, for sure. And the work might look different for one person, for another. But the capacity for change and transformation, you know, is endless. Like, after I worked with Isaiah, I was so like, yo, I gotta learn this. So I flew to California and did a workshop, 5-day intensive workshop with his teacher. You know, I've been taking it for a couple of years now and just applying it on myself. I'm kind of using these tools and these principles in my bodywork practice. You know, seeing how it's received and how, like, the impact, you know, it's really special. And there's so much gratitude to Isaiah, you know, for being the selfless, you know, man of service that he is.
Say thank you for saying what you said, and for being a genuine practitioner of bodywork, of healing work, which you are. And I think you got a lot of gifts to share. And anyone who gets a chance to work with Lev, I highly recommend you go for it. Try something new. Give him an opportunity to teach you some of this work, because it will change your life. So let's do a large intestine stretch. We're going to use the power of contraction in the upper body, releasing the trapezius, the rear deltoids, and the tension that runs down through here, which is all large intestine channel. And so large intestine has to do with control, obsessive compulsive behavior, a non-allowing, like constriction, and the inability to let go. So we're squeezing into those ideas, those states of being, and we're squeezing and moving in order to create a release, and ability to let go of that need to control. So you can take your right arm and wrap it over your left, and then hold your fingers with the other hand. Lift up to 90 degrees, and you're just going to squeeze and hold. About 15 seconds or so of really squeezing and holding. And what I mean by squeeze is your arms are pushing out into each other, and your hands are squeezing into each other. Breathing. You want to keep breathing and squeezing into that place. When you're in contraction, you're very safe. And eventually, as you let go, it'll start to dissipate. So after about 15 seconds, let's start with 2 simple movements. So keep squeezing hands and elbows together. You're going to breathe and squeeze as you lift your elbows up. And then down. And we'll do same squeezing, but circles. Every time you're going around, you're squeezing elbows together. A little bit bigger circle, lots of force. Good. And then you're going to resist with the top hand, and the bottom hand is going to win. So start with the top hand pointing the thumb towards you. Resist with the top hand as the bottom hand wins and pushes open the hand away from you. Keep squeezing the elbows and hands together. Now the bottom hand resists, the top hand wins, and closes the door, coming back. Good, breathe in. Exhale, resist with the top, push open with the bottom. Breathe in. Exhale, close the door with the top hand. So it's just a tug of war, back and forth. Last one, push. And pull. Good. And when you let go, you let your hands go real slow. Keep your elbows squeezed together and let your hands come down by your sides for a couple seconds, nice and easy on the way out. The shoulder's not a true joint, so it's floating. And we want to be, when we're putting a lot of force and tension on the musculature and the tissues that surround it and the joint for that period of time, we want to come out real slow, take a couple seconds, and then it'll start to melt away. You want to switch sides?
I mean, I'm always going to switch sides. I don't know if we need to go into it in the video.
We can tell them reverse left over right and you know, let them just do the same position. How's that feel, though?
I'm always wowed by just how only a few reps, how much, you know, that does for me. You know, I like to do this one a lot after I've done a session. It's the large intestine, so, you know, dealing with letting go. Oftentimes, you know, it's good to just have this stretch to kind of like energetically in my hands, you know, in this channel itself. So much stress that I'm putting on that sometimes, that tension builds up, and this is a great release for that.
And it's a cool example for some people. Not everyone can get into this position.
Well, I was gonna say, for those who can't get in that position but still want to experience that resistance, I found relief as well. If you know, you take your arm and make, you know, like kind of like a right angle with your elbow, and then you take your other hand and you place it here at the elbow. You can hold, you know, just like you held here, and you just held squeezing the elbow. So if you're pushing with the elbow in this direction with my left hand, my right hand, I'm pulling in and keeping the resistance there. Inhale. Exhale, opening it up. And you even like turning the palm with it. So inhale at the top. Exhale, pull it as far as you can go, maintaining the connection. As far as you can go.
Nice.
Just experiencing that new range and that connection in the shoulders. You know, there's so many muscles going on there that sometimes you don't even realize, you know, until you awaken those muscles.
A nice one, because we're getting more of a swath of like more muscles, the rhomboids. There's more muscles that get involved in that. And it's very simple to do. Anyone can start practicing that. You just want to make sure you're moving in a range that you have contraction. So if you go to here and you start to lose contraction, stop. Stay where you have resistance. When you do a rep, it'll expand a little bit more, right? And that will just continue to do more and more release, more and more capacity.
If you find that when you're in that place of resistance and you find yourself shaking, that being like, that's a good place to be in. As long as you're maintaining your breath, but you see it's almost like your hands are trembling. We've met our body where its limitation is, and we're in the act of expanding and transforming the tissues in the body.
Well, not only the tissues, but when you're shaking like that, you're literally growing your nervous system. That's what's happening, right? Brain and muscle are, you know, working to find each other, and there's a growth happening. You're creating new pathways, which is amazing. And I just want to finish with one more concept before we get off.
Okay.
We're not a car, right?
Right.
Our parts don't wear out. We have issues that are causing those tissues to dysfunction, but by definition, we're a regenerative system. So potentially, with the right tools in place, contraction like this being one of those tools, you can regenerate tissue. You can offload layers of connective and scar tissue that's blocking the function and the flow of different essential nutrients, blood, lymph, waste moving in and out. So start to imagine that you can repair yourself. You can regenerate yourself if you have the right tools in place. And this is one of those tools that you should definitely try. If you're struggling with something, start to learn how to use the force of contraction. It can surprise you sometimes how quickly it can change your situation. So
real talk. Thank you so much, Isaiah, for all that you do, all that you are, you know, and just, you know, your continued sharing of this work. And, you know, I know there's more people than I can count that, you know, help transform their lives. And, you know, to be one of them, you know, is an honor. And I'm grateful, you know, really grateful.
Thank you, man. I'm honored and grateful to know you, to be with you, to be supporting other people in this way. It's really, it's an amazing journey. Blessings to you and your community.
Bless. Much love to you, bro. And send it to the family as well.
Alright, family. If you like this video, stay tuned for more to come, as Isaiah and I will be going deeper into the actual stretches in coming videos. Next video will be on our perspective on maximizing the push-up for strength, flexibility, and balanced energy in the body. Those of you who watch this video to the end, we know you got some good information, and we hope that you can readily apply it in your life for greater freedom of movement, vitality, strength, flexibility. And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, check out our services on our revitalityarts.com if you'd like to book a session. That's all, y'all. Stay bright, stay vital. Peace.